Once upon a time, in the vibrant and bustling city of Enugu, lived a young boy named Happy. He came from a humble background, sharing a simple life with his mother, Mama Happy, and his little sister, Jennifer. Happy's father had been a poor taxi driver, a gentleman who worked tirelessly to take care of his family. But everything changed the day a tragic motor accident claimed his life. From that moment, survival became a daily struggle. Mama Happy became both father and mother. Every morning before dawn, she tied her wrapper and hurried to the market to buy tomatoes, then spent the day selling them under the hot sun. Happy and Jennifer understood their mother's sacrifices. They once attended a private school. But when things became too hard, they moved to the community public school without complaint. They walked there every morning, their uniforms clean even if they were fading at the edges. After school, Happy would rush home, drop his books, and help out. Some days he hawked oranges. Other days, he sold pure water in traffic. Jennifer helped arrange tomatoes and counted change for their mother, and every evening, no matter how tired they were, they ate together. Their meals might be simple, beans, gari, or bread and tea, but they always shared laughter. Mama Happy would smile at her children and say, "My children, suffering doesn't last forever. Hard work pays." One day, this story will change. Whenever the rain leaked through their old, rusted roof, Jennifer would run around placing small buckets under the dripping spots. "Mama, this one is beating all of us today." She'd shout, and they would burst into laughter. Even in poverty, they found joy. They didn't have much, but they had each other. Happy admired his mother deeply. In that worn-out three-bedroom flat his father inherited, he made a silent promise. One day, he would make her proud, but fate struck without warning. One evening, Mama Happy complained of stomach pain. At first, she brushed it off with a joke, saying maybe she ate too much groundnut. But the pain grew sharper. She couldn't stand straight. Within days, she could hardly walk. Happy and Jennifer rushed her to the hospital. The doctor examined her and said the words that made her heart sink. "Madam, it's acute appendicitis. You have about a week. You must undergo surgery immediately." The bill was more than their entire savings. They sold their television, Mama Happy's wrappers, even their father's old radio. Still not enough. With trembling hands and a breaking heart, Mama Happy made the hardest decision of her life. She went to the one person she had promised her late husband she would never approach, Chief Emeka, her husband's younger brother, the man their father had cut all ties with. But she had children to live for, and time was running out. Chief Emeka was one of the wealthiest men in Lagos. He owned a massive construction company, fleets of cars, and several shops across the city. To the public, he was a generous man who donated to orphanages, sponsored community programs, and settled young boys after years of apprenticeship. People called him a blessing to society. But behind all the praise was a past only one person knew, his elder brother, the same man who vowed never to set eyes on him again until death separated them. Mama Happy picked up her small Nokia phone and dialed a number she had avoided for years. The call connected. "Hello? Who is this?" Chief Emeka's voice sounded cold and familiar. She swallowed. "Good evening, sir. It's me. Mama Happy." A short pause. "Ah. Mama Happy. It's been a long time. How are you?" "I'm trying, sir." "We are managing," she said politely. "How is your family? How is Madam?" "They're fine," he replied. "And your children?" "They're well, sir. They greet you." So. Why are you calling me after so many years?" She inhaled shakily. "Sir. The doctor said I need urgent surgery. Appendicitis. Very dangerous. I don't have the money. We've sold everything we can. I didn't know who else to run to." Silence. This is serious," he finally said. "Yes, sir," she whispered. "Please. I want to live for my children." He sighed. "Come to the house tomorrow. We will talk about it." "Thank you, sir. God bless you." Safe journey. Good night, sir. The next morning, Mama Happy took a bus to Lagos mainland. The journey felt longer than it was, her mind full of worry, memories, and fear. When she reached the estate gate, she asked for directions until she finally stood before Chief Emeka's mansion. She froze. The compound was magnificent, tall white walls, flowers arranged in beautiful patterns, a long tiled driveway shining under the sun, black SUVs, a silver Benz, and even a red sports car parked like treasures. The mansion itself towered over her, dazzling with glass windows and perfect paint. God. Some people are really living, she whispered. She walked to the massive gate and knocked gently. The uniformed gateman opened a small space and asked, "Yes, madam, who you dey find?" "I'm looking for Chief Emeka. Tell him Mama Happy is here." The gateman frowned, then took out his phone. "Oga, one woman dey here. She say she be Mama Happy." A pause. "Then, let her in." The gate opened fully, and she stepped inside, her eyes wide as she stared at the flowers, the fountain, the polished tiles, the mansion. Everything felt unreal. A maid led her into the sitting room where Chief Emeka sat in a white kaftan. His wife, Miriam, elegant and quiet, sat beside him. "Mama Happy," Chief said. "It's been long." She greeted them respectfully and sat carefully on the edge of the chair. "What happened?" he asked, with trembling hands. She explained everything, the diagnosis, the pain, the money they didn't have. Tears filled her eyes as she pleaded, "Please, sir. I just want to live. I want to raise my children. I'm begging you." When she finished, the room fell silent. Then Chief Emeka nodded, "Don't worry. I will clear the medical bill." She gasped, covering her mouth as tears rolled. "God bless you, sir. Thank you. Thank you." He waved his hand. "Go home. The hospital will contact you." She left the mansion with tears in her eyes, whispering prayers as she walked toward the bus stop. Later that evening, her phone rang. "Madam, your medical bill has been fully paid," the hospital said. "Your surgery is tomorrow morning." Her knees almost gave way. The surgery took place the next day. It was successful. She survived. But she did not know that accepting that help would change her family's life in ways she could never imagine. Years passed, and Chief Emeka never cut off his contact with Mama Happy. Instead, he became a constant presence in their lives. He called often, sometimes in the morning, sometimes at night, just to check on her health and ask after the children. "How is Jennifer? How is Happy doing in school? Do you need anything? Are you eating well?" His voice was always warm, always caring, and whenever Mama Happy mentioned a need, money followed. At first, she was cautious about accepting his help. Life had taught her that sudden kindness often came with hidden strings, so she accepted slowly, carefully, but eventually after everything she had gone through she realized she had no one else. And Chief Emeka seemed genuinely interested in their well-being. With the money he sent regularly, life finally began to take shape again. They fixed the leaking roof that had troubled them for years. The house was repainted, bright, fresh, and welcoming. The broken furniture was replaced. The cracked floor tiles were changed. Then one day, Chief Emeka sent 5 million naira with a simple message: "Open a shop. Start something for yourself." Mama Happy cried. Not tears of sadness this time, but relief. She used the money to open a big wholesale shop. She sold bags of rice, cartons of tomatoes, seasoning, oil, provisions, everything. Business boomed. Customers loved her. Sales grew every day. And for the first time in many years, food was always enough in the house. The children could finally return to private school. They wore neat, brand new uniforms, not faded ones. Their books were complete. Their bags were strong and beautiful. They ate good food: rice, yams, stew, fruits, even meat almost every day. Happy and Jennifer were thrilled. Whenever Uncle Emeka called, they ran to the phone. "Thank you, Uncle. God bless you, sir." We love you, sir. Sometimes, Mama Happy would sit alone in her shop during quiet hours and think deeply. Why did my husband hate his brother so much? Why did he make me swear never to go near him? Why did he refuse help from this same man? She remembered how her husband insisted, never allow my children near Emeka. Never ask him for anything. At the time, she obeyed, but now, looking at the man providing for her family, she became confused. Chief Emeka didn't behave like a bad person. Look at everything he was doing for her and her children, children he hardly even knew. One late afternoon, as she arranged cartons in her shop, the thought crossed her mind again. If my husband had accepted his help years ago, maybe he would still be alive. Maybe he wouldn't have been driving a taxi on the day he died. She sighed deeply and shook her head. Maybe they just had a childhood misunderstanding, she told herself. Maybe my husband was too stubborn. She pushed the uneasy feeling aside. Life was good now, the struggles were fading, and she didn't want to complicate the peace she finally found. Years rolled by. Happy worked hard, just as he had always done. He graduated from secondary school with flying colors, holding his certificate with pride. When the university admission list came out, his name was right there. He gained admission to study accounting, a course he had always dreamed of. Mama Happy danced that day. Jennifer hugged her brother tightly. Even Chief Emeka called and said, "Well done, my boy. Keep making us proud." Things were finally perfect, or so they thought. Getting into the university was one of the happiest days of Happy's life. He worked hard, harder than anyone expected, and 4 years later, he graduated with a first class in accounting. By the time he was graduating, Jennifer was still in SS3, preparing for her final exams. Mama Happy couldn't contain her joy. She threw a small but beautiful feast in their compound. Neighbors came with music, food, laughter. Finally, after years of suffering, something to celebrate. Then Chief Emeka arrived. He didn't come empty-handed. As usual, his presence shifted the atmosphere. People greeted him with respect, and when he handed Happy the keys to a clean, shiny car, the crowd erupted. It was the type of gift no one expected, but Chief Emeka always had a way of surprising them. Everything seemed perfect: a first-class degree, a new car, a proud mother, a bright future. After Happy finished his youth service, Jennifer also graduated from secondary school and gained admission to study medicine and surgery. The family rejoiced again. God had remembered them, they said. Then reality set in. It was time for Happy to get a job. That was when the struggle began. He knocked on doors. He submitted CVs. He attended interviews. He woke up early, returned home late, and repeated the cycle. But every company turned him down. "Sorry, we'll get back to you. We regret to inform you. We're looking for someone with more experience." Months passed. Then one day, a company finally accepted him. Mama Happy cried tears of joy. But the happiness didn't last. After a few months, he was called into the office and dismissed. They claimed he had lost an important file, even though Happy was sure he didn't. But what could he say? Who would listen to him? So he went back home. Ashamed. Tired. Frustrated, the job search continued. 1 month. 3 months. 1 year. 2 years, nothing worked. Mama Happy watched her brilliant son suffer and eventually grew tired. That was when a bold idea came to her. One evening, she called Happy into her room and spoke softly but seriously. "My son, this job hunting is draining you. I called your uncle today. I asked him for a big loan to help you start a business, but he said before he can give you money, you must first learn the trade. He said if you work under him for some years, he will settle you and help you set up your own place." Happy stared at her, confused. She continued, "Go to Lagos. Serve your uncle. Just 5 years. After that, he will establish you. Isn't that better than roaming around with empty promises from companies?" Happy wasn't excited about the idea. But he was tired of failing. And his mother believed it was the best path for him. So, after days of thought, persuasion, and preparation, he finally agreed. With a small box of clothes and a heart full of uncertainty, Happy took a flight to Lagos that his uncle had paid for. to begin a new chapter under the roof of the man who had changed their lives. Yet remained a mystery. That night after Happy traveled, something strange happened. Mama Happy had a dream, one that felt too real, too heavy to ignore. She saw her late husband standing before her, his clothes drenched as though he had walked out of a grave. His eyes were red, swollen from crying. With a trembling voice he said, "So, Mama Happy, you have finally killed our son." She jerked awake immediately, gasping for air. Her wrapper was soaked with sweat. The clock on the wall blinked 3 a.m. Her hands shook as she reached for her phone. She dialed Happy instantly, the moment she heard his cheerful voice at the other end, laughing lightly as he said, "Mama, why are you calling by this time?" Relief washed through her like cold water. She told him it was just a bad dream, nothing serious. Happy calmed her down, assuring her that Lagos was fine, Uncle Emeka was treating him well, and she should go back to sleep. After the call ended, Mama Happy sat at the edge of her bed, her heart still pounding. Her motherly instincts whispered, "Pray." So she knelt immediately and prayed with tears in her eyes. But even after praying, something in her spirit refused to settle. She brushed it aside. "My son is with his uncle. He is safe," she told herself, forcing the unease out of her mind. Years passed. Happy called often at first. He always sounded excited. "Mama, Uncle Emeka made me a supervisor in one of the construction sites. Mama, I'm learning so much. Maybe I'll even stay and keep working for him after my boy is done." They laughed, they shared jokes, they prayed together over the phone. Everything looked perfect, but slowly. The calls became fewer, weeks passed, then months. The uneasy feeling returned to Mama Happy's chest, but she kept encouraging herself, "He is busy. He is working. It is well." Then one bright Monday morning, a black SUV stopped in front of their house. To her shock, Chief Emeka himself stepped out, with Happy beside him. Jennifer screamed with excitement. Mama Happy ran outside and hugged her son tightly. They all went inside to the sitting room. After exchanging greetings and pleasantries, Chief Emeka cleared his throat and said, "I don't want to keep Happy in bondage for years. So I have decided to settle him early." He told Happy to kneel. Happy knelt. Chief Emeka placed a hand on his head and prayed for him, speaking blessings, long life, wealth, and open doors. Then he brought out a brown envelope and said, "Here is 30 million Nigerian nairas to start your life." Mama Happy screamed and fell to her knees thanking him. Jennifer danced around the room. Everything looked too good to be true. And it was. That evening, Chief Emeka returned to Lagos, and that was the beginning of their nightmare. The curse unfolds. With the 30 million Nigerian nairas, Happy opened a massive electrical appliances shop. Business boomed. Customers loved him. His name spread. Jennifer was in her final year of medicine and came home occasionally during breaks. Life looked perfect, almost heaven-like. Then one morning, everything changed. Happy woke up shivering. A strange fever seized him. He took drugs, but the fever refused to leave. Then the itching started, non-stop. Day and night, then the smell. A foul odor he couldn't explain, like something rotting inside him. He went to the hospital, but the doctors found nothing wrong. Absolutely nothing, but he kept getting worse. And one night, Happy drove from his apartment back to his mother's house. When he stepped out of the car, he was unrecognizable. His face was swollen and covered in rashes. His skin had patches that looked burnt. He smelled like a decomposing body. Jennifer screamed the moment she saw him. Mama Happy's knees buckled under her. They rushed to him crying, "Happy. Jesus. What happened to you?" He collapsed into their arms. They rushed Happy into the house, crying and shouting his name, their voices echoing through the entire compound. Mama Happy switched on the light, and when it brightened the room, the full horror of Happy's condition showed. Jennifer covered her mouth to stop herself from screaming again. "Happy. What happened to you?" Mama Happy asked, trembling. Happy tried to speak, his voice weak and cracked. He told them everything. How the fever started, the itching, the smell, the strange hospital results. Mama Happy burst into tears. But why didn't you tell me sooner? Why, Happy? Why did you keep quiet? Her voice broke. Happy whispered, Mama. I thought it was just ordinary fever. I didn't want you to worry. Mama Happy cried even harder. The search for a cure. They rushed him to the hospital again. Doctors ran tests. Blood test, scan, full body check. But every result came out normal. Yet he looked like someone dying slowly. From the hospital, they went to a herbalist. The herbalist shook his head, saying the sickness wasn't ordinary. He tried herbs, baths, concoctions. Nothing worked. Days passed, weeks passed. Happy's condition worsened. Walking became difficult. Then standing became impossible. Then eating became a battle. He would vomit almost everything. The smell from his body grew unbearable. Neighbors avoided their house. Even with all the windows open, the house smelled like a place where something dead was kept hidden. Mama Happy cried herself to sleep every night. Jennifer, who had returned to school after the last visit, couldn't concentrate. Every lecture sounded far away. Every assignment felt useless. One night, she packed her bags and returned home. Mama, school can wait, she said, wiping tears. My brother needs me. Together, they carried Happy from prayer house to prayer house. Some pastors prayed. Some sprinkled oil. Some said it was spiritual. Some said it was ancestral. But Happy kept getting worse. He no longer talked. He no longer reacted. He just lay in bed like a silent, breathing body. Hope slowly began to fade. One afternoon, Mama Happy went to her shop, not to sell, but to sit and cry quietly behind her counter. She wiped her tears quickly anytime someone passed by, trying not to attract attention. Sandra, the woman who rented the shop opposite hers, had been watching her for months. She noticed her silence, the weight loss, the sadness she tried to hide. That day, Sandra walked across the road and stood in front of her. Mama Happy. What is going on? She asked softly. You don't look like yourself. Please talk to me. Mama Happy shook her head immediately. No, nothing. I'm fine. I don't want to worry anybody. But Sandra didn't stop there. She sat beside her, placing a hand gently on her shoulder. Mama Happy, look at me, she said, voice firm but kind. Something is wrong. I've watched you suffer quietly for months. Please. Talk to me. Maybe I can help. For a moment, Mama Happy kept her lips tightly sealed. She didn't want to talk. She didn't want pity. But the pain she had carried for months was too heavy. The fear, the confusion, the sleepless nights, the helplessness. Everything felt like it was choking her. Sandra pressed again. Please. Tell me what is happening. And right there, Mama Happy broke down completely. Tears poured from her eyes as she finally opened up. She told Sandra everything. Happy's sickness, the strange smell, the hopeless hospital visits, the prayer houses, the fear that her son might die. Sandra held her as she cried. Mama Happy, she said softly, I know you've tried churches. I know you've lost hope. But please, come to my church. And if you can't, I will bring my pastor to your house on Wednesday. He is usually free on that day. Your son will be healed. Mama Happy hugged her tightly, crying into her shoulder. For the first time in a long time, she felt hope again. Wednesday came faster than Mama Happy expected. By 9 a.m., she heard a knock on the door. Jennifer rushed to open it, and there he stood, a tall, dark-skinned man with gentle eyes, a thick white beard, and a calm presence that filled the entire doorway. Pastor Daniels. Sandra was beside him, smiling reassuringly. They stepped inside. Happy lay on the bed in the sitting room, breathing weakly, his body covered in rashes that looked worse in the morning light. The smell of decay floated in the air, but the pastor's face didn't flinch. He walked straight to Happy, looked at him from head to toe, and nodded slowly. Let us pray, he said. They all gathered around. Mama Happy, Jennifer, Sandra, everyone held hands. The pastor began praying in a slow, deep voice. The atmosphere shifted immediately. The air felt heavier. The room felt smaller. After a few minutes, he stopped praying abruptly and opened his eyes. He looked directly at Mama Happy. I keep hearing a name, he said quietly. Uncle. 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 Who is this uncle? Mama Happy swallowed hard. Oh, that is his uncle. Chief Emeka. He has been very kind to us. Without him, my son wouldn't even, hold it there, woman. The pastor's voice cut through her sentence like a knife. Everyone froze. The pastor shook his head slowly before speaking again. What I am seeing here. A person you call kind should not be connected to this kind of torment. Mama Happy frowned in confusion. Pastor. I don't understand. He asked sharply, describe him. Jennifer answered, he's tall, dark. And has white beard. The pastor's eyes narrowed. He exhaled long and deep. He sighed heavily. That man is a ritualist. Jesus. Mama Happy screamed. She staggered backward and held the wall for support. No. No, Pastor. That can't be true. Chief Emeka is a good man. He helped us. He paid my hospital bills. He sent my children to school. He. Woman. The pastor raised his voice, firm and unshakable. You know the truth deep inside you. You have always suspected. That is why your spirit has never been at peace. Mama Happy covered her mouth with both hands, shaking her head. No. Pastor, I never suspected anything. You had a dream, the pastor said quietly. Everyone fell silent. A dream of your late husband warning you. Mama Happy froze. Tears filled her eyes instantly. She stared at the pastor like someone seeing a ghost. How did you know that? She whispered. The pastor stepped closer. Because what is happening to your son is a sacrifice. But the spirit of his father is fighting for him. Jennifer burst into tears. And my brother. Oh God. My brother. The pastor lifted his hand. Do not fear. The assignment of death will be broken today. He placed his right hand on Happy's chest. Happy suddenly jerked violently as though something was being pulled out of him. He gasped for air, his body shaking like electricity ran through him. Bring water. The pastor commanded. Jennifer ran and brought a bowl. The pastor prayed into the water and sprinkled it on Happy. The room filled with a strange wind. Even though all the windows were closed, Happy screamed, a sound none of them had ever heard before, a voice that wasn't his own. The smell in the room intensified for a moment, then suddenly vanished completely. Happy's body went still, then his breathing calmed, then his eyes opened slowly. Mama. He whispered. Mama Happy fell to her knees, crying loudly, Jesus. My son. My son is back. Jennifer hugged him, shaking and laughing at the same time. Sandra cried silently in the corner. The pastor stepped back, wiped his forehead, and said, It is done. Your son has been healed. And that was the day the truth about their kind uncle began to unfold. After the pastor's visit the previous day, when he finished praying for Happy's healing and prayed over the entire family, he stood up to leave. But at the door, he paused. I will return tomorrow, he said calmly. Mama Happy didn't understand why, but for the first time in months, her heart felt light. Hope, tiny but real, sat inside her chest. That night, for the first time in a very long time, Mama Happy, Jennifer, and Happy ate together happily. Happy could walk, breathe, and talk properly again. The smell had disappeared. The rashes dried up. His face glowed with life again. While eating, Mama Happy made a silent vow in her heart. I don't want anything from Chief Emeka ever again. I will sell my shop, gather every kobo he ever gave me, and return it. I don't want his money. I don't want his kindness. I don't want anything that ties us to him. She didn't say it out loud, but God heard. The next morning, just as the pastor promised, he returned early with Sandra. Mama Happy welcomed them warmly, offered them drinks, but they both chose only water. They prayed, talked, and waited. Barely 2 hours had passed when a loud scream cut through the quiet morning. It was Jennifer. Everyone ran outside. What they saw froze their blood. Chief Emeka was standing at the gate, wearing torn clothes, his skin covered in violent rashes, scratching his body as if fire was burning under his skin. Beside him was his wife, Miriam, kneeling on the ground, her face swollen from crying, begging him to stand still. When Chief Emeka saw Mama Happy, he collapsed to his knees. "I'm sorry. Mama Happy, I'm sorry. I'll confess. I can't hide again." Jennifer covered her mouth. Happy stepped backward, trembling. Mama Happy stared in horror. "Confess what?" she whispered in fear. Chief Emeka broke down crying. "I am your husband. Your late husband's younger brother. You remember when our parents died? I was 6. He was 9. Our uncles stole our inheritance and threw us into suffering. We were beaten, starved, mistreated. We ran away to Lagos. We slept under bridges. Begged for food. Ate once in 2 days." He wept uncontrollably. "I got tired of suffering. I joined boys on the street who suddenly had money. At first we were armed robbers. Then after a failed operation that killed all our friends except me and my closest friend, Chike, we went to a native doctor. Everyone went silent. The pastor bowed his head." Chief continued, his voice cracking. "The native doctor told us what to do for wealth. Chike was told he would never have children. I was told I must sacrifice one male every year for my wealth to grow. Adult or child. It didn't matter. He gave me a coffin to keep under my bed. Anyone who slept on that bed would fall sick and decay until they died." Mama Happy staggered back. Jennifer screamed, "Jesus! I did everything he said. I kidnapped a child from a park. I beheaded him in front of the native doctor. Money appeared immediately. That night, I rented an apartment. By the next week, I had bought the entire building." He shook violently as he spoke. "Later, I brought my brother, your husband, into the house. He kept asking how I became rich, but I lied. One day he opened the coffin while cleaning. He saw the child's head. He confronted me. I wanted to kill him to keep the secret. But he escaped." Mama Happy burst into tears. Chief continued, "I begged the native doctor to kill him, but he said your husband had a strong spirit. Anyone who tried to kill him would die instead. So he cast a spell on him so he wouldn't be able to expose me. That's why he never told anyone." Miriam nodded slowly, crying. "Years later, my own son, my only child, slept on the forbidden bed. He became sick. I ran to the native doctor. He told me the only way to save my son was to use someone from my bloodline as replacement. The whole compound fell silent. That was when your family came to my mind. I didn't know how to reach you, until you called." Mama Happy froze. Chief swallowed hard. "I blocked Happy from getting jobs so he would come to Lagos. That sickness wasn't ordinary. It was the charm working. That night I brought him back to you. He had already been spiritually sacrificed. I only needed the year to complete for him to die." Mama Happy screamed, "Jesus! You wanted to kill my son? I'm sorry." He wept. "I'm so sorry. I never meant to destroy you. I was blinded by fear. By desperation." Miriam fell to her knees beside her husband. "Yes. After our last son healed, he told me everything. I didn't know what to do. I had no family. I had no strength. I'm an orphan. I stayed because I loved him. I stayed because I was scared." Mama Happy turned away from them. "I curse the day I ever knew you," she sobbed. "My husband warned me. My spirit warned me. You killed my husband. Now you wanted to kill my son. God will judge you." The pastor stepped forward slowly. "Enough," he said quietly. "The consequences of evil have reached their owner." As he lifted his hand to pray, Chief Emeka suddenly convulsed. He let out a loud scream, then burst into hysterical laughter. Sharp, mad, inhuman. He ran out of the compound, tearing his shirt, shouting strange words no one could understand. His wife ran after him, screaming his name, Emeka Aya. Emeka Aya. But he didn't stop. The pastor sighed deeply. The spirit he served has finally claimed him, he said. He will roam the streets like a madman to repay the countless souls he took. Only God can save him now. Silence settled over the compound. Happy held his mother, Jennifer cried softly, Sandra held Mama Happy's hand. The storm was finally over, but the scars would never be forgotten. Life slowly returned to normal after the chaos. Happy grew stronger every day. The pastor continued visiting, praying, and encouraging them, reminding them that God never abandons the innocent. Within weeks, Happy was back to full health, stronger and more determined than ever. Mama Happy became a different woman entirely. She spoke with courage now. She smiled more. The heaviness that had followed her for months finally lifted. Each morning she woke up grateful that her son was alive. Each night she slept without fear for the first time in years. With time, she sold her small shop and reopened a bigger one she built with her own hands, her own sweat, her own peace. No more guilt money. No more favors. No more fear. She was free, happy, encouraged by his mother and strengthened by everything he survived, began to apply for jobs again. This time, there was no invisible hand blocking him. Doors opened that had once been sealed shut. Within a month, he was called for an interview at a respected engineering company. He walked into the interview room confident, calm, blessed. 3 days later, he received the call. He got the job. Mama Happy cried tears of joy the entire afternoon, thanking God over and over again. Jennifer danced around the house, shouting, "My brother Don get job oh." It was as if light filled their home again. Months passed, and Jennifer finally finished her final year exams in medical school. She graduated with honors. During her induction, her mother and Happy sat proudly in the audience, clapping until their palms hurt. Jennifer later got a job at a reputable hospital in Enugu, fulfilling her dream of becoming a doctor. It felt like everything that had been stolen from them was being returned. Slowly, peacefully, beautifully, their home became warm again.
Laughter echoed through the rooms. They ate dinner together, prayed together, lived together. No more fear. No more nightmares. Only peace. Sometimes, at night, Mama Happy sat outside looking at the stars, remembering everything they had survived. She whispered quietly into the wind, "We passed through fire. And we did not burn." Chief Emeka was never seen again. Some said he wandered the city, talking to himself. Others said he had disappeared into the forests. No one knew for sure. No one cared anymore. His chapter was closed, but for Mama Happy and her children, a new life had begun. A life filled with love, hard work, peace, and God's mercy, and they lived happily. Not because life was perfect, but because they survived the end. Thank you for watching my story to the end. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'll be back soon with another interesting story. Bye.